What is it like being a Jamaican in Hong Kong? Hi, I'm Xavier Murphy, the founder of Jamaicans.com. And today in Jamaicans to the World, I talk to Dawnelle and Darcia Clarke, Jamaicans who are living in Hong Kong. Welcome, Dawnelle. Welcome, Darcia. How are you?
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
We're doing
fine.
good.
Yeah, we're good.
So this is the first time I have twins on, so I'm extremely excited. So let's jump right into this. First question: which part of Jamaica you guys are from?
You want to answer? Yeah.
Well, we were born in Spanish Town and we grew up in Old Harbor Bay, Jamaica. Yeah.
All right. And which school are you representing?
Let me take that.
All right.
So that's a complicated one because we don't have a high school.
Right.
So we went to Marymount Primary in Old Harbor,
Okay.
but we immigrated with our parents to the United States when we were about 7 years old.
Okay. All right.
Yes.
we're representing high schools in Brooklyn, New York, pretty much.
Yes.
However, yeah.
we do represent NCU
Northern Caribbean University in Manchester
as our university. Yes.
Oh, all right. And the parents didn't indoctrinate you with their high school or their school, because I
No.
mine.
No, we didn't get that.
No.
Okay. All right. So Northern Caribbean University in Manchester
Yes.
is what you're representing.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. So tell us the story of how you got to Hong Kong.
Wow, it's a long story, but
Yeah.
after I will start and then you pick it up.
Okay.
So after university, we were both working. So I was working in Scotiabank for a few years and she was working at Claro. I don't know if anybody remembers when Claro was in Jamaica, but
Yeah.
she was working there. And we were both wanting to leave and to travel because we got bored, and we were just saying, well, where to go?
Yeah, so we decided on Japan and we applied to the JET program, must have been 2 or 3 years in a row, and got rejected.
Always.
Yeah.
I don't know. They didn't
What
want us.
So I ended up meeting someone, and she told me about Adventist schools, volunteering and working for Adventist schools. She worked in Taiwan for several years. And then I looked, there was no position for Taiwan. There was no position for, there was a position for Japan. We applied and then once again, rejected. I just don't know.
We don't know what happened
with
but
Japan.
They said that we were perfect and this and that.
Yeah.
And then at the last minute, they said no.
Exactly. No. So we were just tired and frustrated because at that time we went through all the steps. We were just waiting on the yes, everything was looking great for Japan. And then we got a sudden no. So we decided to just maybe try somewhere else somewhere else where we might not make as much money, but it will be an adventure. So we saw some positions available in Honduras. So we went to Honduras to teach first.
Yes.
And then because of our experience and great references from Honduras, when there was a position in Asia, no Japan, we saw Hong Kong.
And we said close enough.
Close enough. We'll visit Japan when we get there.
Yes.
Okay. So we applied to Hong Kong and, the doors just were open because of the Honduras experience and the glowing references. The doors open for Hong Kong. Yeah.
Okay, Japan, you're lost.
Yeah,
Yes,
exactly.
yes,
They're lost.
They're lost. They're lost.
You're lost. You have, 2 people here that were eager to come. You're lost this time. But back up a little bit. Honduras, that's interesting. How was that experience?
Honduras was just like being in Jamaica, the hospitality of the people.
Yes.
We felt like we were back home, the way we were welcomed.
The people. Except there's an element of danger that is just a little bit higher than Jamaica. So
yes.
You feel it.
You feel the danger.
Yeah.
And actually, this is a long story, but I'm going to make it as short as possible. So Dawnelle stayed for 1 year. I stayed for 2 years. Yeah. But in the middle of my second year, there was a huge prison fire. It was very controversial. And lots of prisoners died and escaped outside of the town that I was working in. So after that, there were nightly patrols, and you just felt the danger. And I couldn't walk to work anymore. I was 10 minutes from work. I couldn't walk to work, and that's when I decided that maybe that would be my last year in Honduras, and tried to look for something else.
Yeah.
Yes.
There's an not element, but I know there are ancestors there. Did you come upon any of them while you were there?
Funny story.
Yes,
Funny story.
we did.
Yes.
Well, it was only when we said to our mom that we're going to Honduras.
No, our cousin.
But mom.
Okay,
yeah,
both,
but
both,
mom decided to mention at that point that, oh, you know, your grandfather was born in Honduras. Like, why didn't you mention that before?
Oh.
So random.
So our great grandparents were some of those workers who went to Central America to work. So they were Jamaicans. We saw our grandfather's birth certificate, and it says that born to Jamaican parents in Honduras.
Yeah.
Yes.
Was it Roatan or?
I think it was in Roatan.
I'm not sure. Yeah, somewhere on that side.
Yes.
Yeah.
And did you go seek out any relatives there, or?
No,
we didn't. I think it just was too complicated because it's quite far from where we were located. We were in Camayagua, and it's just hours and hours of driving to get to that area where the Caribbean people would have been.
Yeah. So we didn't explore, but we hope to this year do a little bit of family history.
Yeah,
research.
genealogy research. Yeah.
Yeah.
Deep and interesting. I've done some of that, and let me tell you, it's gonna open your eyes up even more.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did you come up on any? And I know we're talking about Hong Kong. We're gonna get to Hong Kong in a
Yes.
But in terms of Honduras, did you meet anyone of Jamaican ancestry while you were there?
Yes, I made a really good friend of Jamaican parents. She's from the UK, but Katie Ann, if you're watching this, I love you, you know.
Yeah.
So we were there together as teachers for 2 years, and yes, I met Katie Ann. I don't think we met anyone else. Yes, also another girl with Jamaican parents was Renee, another teacher that I worked with.
Yes.
American girl, but Jamaican
not
parents.
actually living in Honduras, but actually going there to work as well.
Yes.
Yeah. All right.
Yes.
All right. So Hong Kong. Let's get it.
I love back to Hong Kong. Yes.
So tell us a little bit about the people in Hong Kong. What are they like in terms of, just the culture and, friendly, warm, or maybe not warm, takes a little while to get warm. What are they like?
Okay, so I think at first you would think that the people are colder than maybe people from the Caribbean or from Central America, because there isn't that warm, open hospitality that we're used to on that side of the world.
Yeah.
But this is a very family-oriented culture. I think family is very, very important. And once people welcome you, once you try to get to know them, I mean, they treat you like family.
They embrace you.
Yes.
Yeah. And it helps. I mean, it's very difficult to learn Cantonese. It's not necessary, but difficult. But if you know one or two phrases, it kind of disarms them. And then they're just like, oh, you're trying to learn something about me. Okay.
Yes.
Then they welcome you.
And Nellie's always saying that I have all the luck with people, because sometimes I'm on the road and I look lost and I'm trying to find a new location. And there's always someone who comes specifically to me and says, you look like you need help, let me help you.
Yeah.
And I always come home and tell her the story, and she's like, how do you get so lucky?
I know. It's so bizarre. People are always going out of their way to help her. I don't know what happened to me, but yeah.
That's nice. So when you tell folks you are Jamaican, what's the typical response?
Blank stare.
What?
Where?
What? Yeah, it's not. I think here they don't know much about Jamaica. If you just say Jamaica, they don't know that name. But I found in recent years that if I say the Cantonese, which my pronunciation is going to be off, but if I say "Oh my God," then they will say, "Oh, okay, Usain Bolt, Bob Marley."
Yes,
but if you're just saying Jamaica, it's just gonna go over their head. Yeah.
I see. So all you have to say. Repeat it again. I want to.
Okay, my tones are very bad. Forgive me, Cantonese speakers, but "Oh my God," yes.
Oh my God.
Yes.
Followed by Usain Bolt, Bob Marley.
Yes.
Yeah. And beaches. They
And
know the
beaches,
warm
yes.
climate.
Yeah.
They know, the tourism aspect.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, at least they recognize it once you say it in their language, and I
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
key. And how difficult was it? I mean, you say it's a challenge because of tones and everything else. From a 1 to 10, with 10 being the best, how far do you think you are with the language?
0.5.
I would say 1 for me.
0.5.
But yes,
0.5.
Yeah.
So you're not required to like do a year or
No, the thing
No.
is, here you can get around with English. Everything is in English. The signs. I mean, I think it would be considered an official language here.
Yes.
So most people are bilingual. Well, not even bilingual, trilingual or multilingual. So
Yes, and it is a former British colony like Jamaica. So, before English was so widely spoken. Of course, it is still now, but yeah.
okay. So the signs, everything is in both languages.
Both languages.
Yes, yes.
So
And
you
you can
don't
always find an English speaker anywhere you are.
Yeah.
So
Okay, so you don't have to read. You don't have to try and read the Cantonese.
no,
No, Msai.
no need.
No
That means no need.
No need.
Msai,
Msai.
Yeah.
So, and I'm gonna jump back to Japan. Did you learn any Japanese before you all were thinking I got to Japan?
No. We just wanted to
We
go.
were just gonna go and figure it out
Yeah.
as usual.
So I think Hong Kong was great for you because of the English. The transition was pretty easy then.
Well, no,
actually,
you touched on something very important. We
Right.
came here in 2012, and for us, or at least for me, the first year was particularly rough. I felt really isolated because I was working at a school where I was the only foreigner, and the locals were they were a bit shy to speak to me. Towards the end of the school year, I found out that the reason why they don't speak to me or they didn't speak to me at that time, is that they didn't want to mess up their pronunciation or grammar in front of their colleagues. There's a losing face kind of culture here. So, they didn't want to speak to me for fear of making mistakes. So the whole year, I just couldn't wait to leave. I just wanted to get out.
My experience wasn't as bad as hers, but I didn't know. I mean, I was working in a different school, and I didn't even know if the school really liked me until I had made up my mind to leave.
Yeah.
So our first year was 2012 to 2013, and at the end of that year, we left.
We booked it. We
left.
got out.
We left.
We're like, nope.
No.
Japan, here we come.
No, Spain, here we come. Spain, here we come.
Oh wow!
Yes.
So you all left and went to Spain for how long?
Well, I'm always leaving her. So I went to Honduras for a year, left her. I went to Spain for a year, left her. How long?
I stayed in Spain for 3 wonderful years, amazing years.
Yeah.
Yes.
Man, you guys are just globe hopping,
Right.
So then the question is, what brought you back to Hong Kong after that experience there?
We had wonderful experiences in Spain, but we could only, the path to having a solid career wasn't as clear. So in Hong Kong, it's quite easy to get your work visa, get a stable job, especially we're teachers.
Yeah.
So in education, it was just so much easier rather than staying in Spain, and we had to be on student programs and things of that sort. So
yes, as a non-EU passport holder, it's very difficult to get permanent residency in Spain, whereas in Hong Kong, the path is a bit more straightforward. And the salaries for teachers, of course, are much different.
Much better
in Hong Kong.
So let me ask you this. I've always heard this, that in, the Asian countries versus the West and European countries, teachers are well respected. Have you found?
Oh, yes. I find that the students, the culture in the classroom is so much different from maybe in Spain or in Honduras.
Yes.
I was a lot more familiar with the students.
A little too familiar sometimes in Spain. They just talk to you as if they're your friend. I prefer a barrier sometimes.
Yeah, there was a less barrier in Honduras and in Spain between teacher and student. But here, the culture is to be very respectful. I notice in even the bad schools that I supposedly have been in, the behavioral problems in the classroom are not, you can't compare. It's just so minor compared to what I've experienced in other places. So yeah, teachers are really, really respected, not just with students, but just on a whole, culturally.
And I don't know what ages you guys teach, but are the students interested in Jamaica once they learn that you are Jamaicans?
Oh, yes.
yes.
They ask many questions. They want to see it on the map. They want to know about the language, or, they want to know about the culture, as long as they're old enough to inquire. But even the youngest ones, like 7 or 8, I teach lower primary school. They're really fascinated.
Yes, and I teach secondary school, and they love asking questions. And as a matter of fact, this is an aside, but just last year, along with another Jamaican here, we were invited to go to another school, a school that I've never even heard of. They were doing an English week focused on English-speaking countries all over the world. And one of the classes did Jamaica. And they wanted us to come and speak and share about the culture. So that was amazing to just be invited just randomly. So shout out to Han Academy. You guys did a really, really good job.
Awesome.
Yes. We love Han Academy.
Yeah.
Oh man, this is fascinating stuff. So I'm going to jump onto food. And let's tell us, what's the food like, first of all, and if there's a dish that you would recommend we try, what would that dish be?
Okay. Look, here you can get every kind of food imaginable. It's very multicultural. But for local food, our favorite, I think, is dim sum, right? We both agree, dim sum, which is, little plates of different food. Like you could try fish ball or steamed bun, or
you can try sweet and savory at the same time. And the amazing thing about dim sum, it's a sharing meal. So, usually sit around a round table with your family, and everybody's just digging in and sharing everything. And you just try little things, and you say, oh, I like that. Maybe I don't like that one so much.
Not to be missed also is hot pot in the winter, also sharing,
Yes, hot pot is lovely for the cold time. But generally, if you're going to come here, I would say try dim sum, because you have so many different flavors that you can try.
Yeah, in one sitting. Yeah.
Yes.
So I've heard, from some people, I don't know how true this is, that the Hong Kong food is probably close to some of what we have in Jamaican Chinese food. I don't know.
I would disagree.
I would disagree.
Okay. All right.
Yes. I think there's so many.
I always say our food, our Jamaican, and I know we have some things different, for example, one of my favorites is swimming. You can't get swimming anywhere. Swimming is unique to Jamaica. Don't walk into any store or any Chinese restaurant or Hong Kong and ask for swimming, because it's unique. Someone had mentioned tonight, well, that region, Hong Kong, and the Chinese region that's close to it is where a lot of the
Cantonese speakers, the Guangdong
region. Yeah, I think the base is similar. But Jamaicans flavor things,
so flavorful.
It's so flavorful.
Yes.
So if you come here and you say, well, I want Jamaican Chinese food, you'll be a little bit disappointed, because the flavors are much lighter than what you would get in Jamaica.
Especially when it comes to spices. Yeah, unless the food is from like the Sichuan region, that they really love their spice.
That's a different level. Yeah.
But if I want my spicy food, I have to travel out of the city.
No,
you can get everything
here.
You can get everything. You can get sushi. You can get Mediterranean. You can get
anything you want.
Can get
anything you want.
So that's interesting, because it sounds like there is an expat community there. It sounds like it from what.
Yes, I'm always, because I teach in secondary, this is the common phrase, Hong Kong is an international city. I'm always saying that, because they always have to use this in their speeches, but it is literally an international city. There's so many expats here, a wide community, not just in teachers, especially in finance as well. So, and different industries, but particularly in finance, there's a big finance industry here. So you'll have lots of expats from
the UK, from France,
Australia, US.
New Zealand,
yes, yes.
Of course, a lot from South Asia as well. Indians, Pakistanis,
Okay.
Yes.
And with the expat community there, I'm going to jump back to food a little bit. Are you getting any of your Jamaican foods there? Let me rephrase that a little bit. Let's say, for example, you want your yam, or you want your mangoes, or you want, and I'm not saying that's Jamaican food per se, but even the supplies to make the Jamaican food. Are you getting any there?
You can, because there's such a big South Asian culture, like from the Philippines, from Malaysia, from different countries, so they'll have these foods that you can access, like mango,
plantain,
June plum,
and then the Africans also they provide yam. I think I've seen yam, cassava, or something like that. Not cassava, just yam.
Yeah, so you can't get everything, but you can get some things. Yeah.
and so do y'all and maybe bring in some canned ackee and
Well, no, we haven't done that, but we do try and once in a blue get together with other Jamaicans, and we try and cook as authentically as possible.
Yeah, cook jerk chicken and things that we can cook here, but the ackee thing is can't get ackee. Can't do canned ackee.
So do your friends you bring in some of your friends from Hong Kong, and have they tried that jerk chicken and tried that?
Yes. Oh, well, that leads us to another thing. Yes. So there is an NGO called the Africa Center, and they do different programs related to Africa and the diaspora, and actually Black people all over the world here in Hong Kong, and they'll have these different events focused on different cultures. So they did a Jamaica night, and some of us Jamaicans were invited to participate, and we ended up hosting this public event.
Yes, there was lots of food for everyone to try.
So there was cooking, there was cultural sharing, music, dancing, everything, and it was wonderful to be able to share our food and our culture.
And it was so well received. At the end of the night, everyone was asking, when will we have it again? But it's not our thing; it's the Africa Center,
Yes. Yes, we were just invited.
We were invited, and we kind of took over.
Yes,
as Jamaicans, not just us, as Jamaicans.
Yes.
I was thinking it, and I was like, "Why the Jamaican them take over?" But there's a couple questions I have as it relates. You said there's this African organization, NGO, support. I've heard this from some ladies, and so I'm gonna ask here. Is there, hair salon that you can go to, or you have to do your own hair? Is that one?
We don't have to, but funny story. When we first went back to Jamaica and we used to get our hair braided, I will never forget this girl. We used to go to her to get our hair braided. Her name was Bumi.
In Old Harbor.
And the third time we came into her shop, she said, okay, this can't go on. You guys have to stop. You have to learn to do each other's hair. You can't keep paying me. This was when we were about 18 years old. And she taught us how to do hair. And since then, we don't pay.
Yeah.
So that's it. So
we help each other.
Bumi, if you're, I don't know.
Thank you for that.
I never forget you for that. So there are hair shops. There are places that you can get your hair done here, but we don't need to go out.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. All right. But they kind of accommodate Black hair.
There are so many salons. There are African salons, and there are Africans who work in these very expensive salons as well. So you can get whatever treatment you want.
Okay. All right. So another topic I want to jump on is, all right, two young ladies here. What is that dating scene like? Has anyone tried to, I'm sure somebody may have tried to pick you up. Again, maybe it's an expat, maybe it's a native. But what's it like?
I think generally people are shy here, but it's very shocking when a local person stops me on the street and asks me for my number. It happens, but I'm just always it's very shocking. Just like, wait, what?
There's no like, hi, how are you? It's just like giving the phone and saying your number, please, or something. It's a bit like, what's happening right now? Yeah. But with expats, it's a bit different. I think a lot of expats who come here, they're here for a short term. So it's very hard to like establish any kind of long-term relationship. They're just like, well, I'm here for a year. You're just like,
or
okay, well,
a
I'm not
year or
interested.
two.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think it's a little bit complicated. You have to kind of figure out what you want, you know. But I haven't had any negative experiences with locals or expats here.
Yeah.
All right. Good. All right. So music. What's the dominant music that you would hear if you're walking out, if you're in a Uber, or you know?
There is a lack of music, I think, for us coming from such a musical society. You don't hear it as much.
But I work with teenagers, and the teenagers love K-pop. Okay, the teenagers love K-pop or hip hop. Okay,
they do, but there's now Cantonese pop, right?
And then there's Canto pop.
Canto pop, yeah.
But what the dominant music, I would say the dominant music with teens, especially teen girls, is K-pop. K-pop is the most interesting thing. But with the boys, they like hip hop. And the boys in school, I just went to a new school this year, and boy, the boys were so excited to see me. You know, they're just like, Miss Clarke, what's up? You know, because they think I'm American, so they're using all of these hip hop phrases on me, and I'm just like, I don't know. I'm sorry.
So it sounds like you could say to them, "What a go on, what a go
on."
Yeah. You tell them it's hip hop, and you'd have the whole school saying, "What a go on." So in terms of, you know, the music part of it, do you hear any reggae at all? Any glimpse of reggae?
Only when we go to some maybe some more expat areas.
Yeah, and then expat restaurants. Yeah, maybe we'd hear it. Like I remember this Mana, this natural whole food,
like
place,
vegan place. You know, that kind of trendy,
reggae.
Some kind of trendy
place. Yeah, okay, all right. No, cost of living. What's the cost of living like? And if we could use, you know, a meal in a medium restaurant, what would that cost be? If you can work it out in kind of US dollars, you know, kind of give an example of what cost of living is like.
Well, the most expensive thing is rent. You know, rent is the highest thing, I would say.
Yeah, we spend the most money on rent.
So you could spend more than $1,000 US per month on a very small flat or a very small apartment. To go to a medium like quality restaurant, maybe
I would say maybe around $30,
maybe 40. I would say
30 to 40, depending.
40 US
US dollars
for a meal. Yeah.
Okay, so it's a little high.
It's a little high, but it just depends on, you know, where you go.
Right.
So in the expat areas, of course, you know, the prices will be high. The rent.
But if
higher.
you're going to a local, we don't really go to the expat areas the thing is, Hong Kong is divided into so many different areas. So once you're on Hong Kong Island, which we don't live on, we don't work at, and we don't go too often, but once you're on Hong Kong Island, everything is more expensive. So that's where most of the trendy happening places are. So prices would be higher, but for where we are, you know, we could get a meal for maybe 20 US.
Yeah.
Or 15. Yeah, depends.
But we don't really eat out. We cook at home
cook a lot
of the time.
Yeah,
that's why.
Yeah.
Okay. And how often? I know there's a tight group, as you mentioned, during our discussions, Jamaicans there. How often do you guys meet up? And I know COVID.
Yeah. Yes. So before COVID, we were meeting up maybe 5 times a year?
Yeah.
Times a year. A few times a year. And then we'd meet up in smaller groups a little bit more often. But because of COVID, it's been a long time. I think the last time we met up was last year, just for a small dinner. Yeah.
And do y'all celebrate, like, you know, let's get together for independence and kind of have an independence celebration?
I think because normally the teachers, we would travel during that time.
Yeah, we're usually not here.
We'd be in Jamaica.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, I see.
Yeah.
Celebrating at home.
Yes.
Yeah.
So back to, you know, in terms of people customs, has there been any local customs that you have come upon that you said, you know, this is kind of interesting? It could be from, you know, how marriages are done, how you're introduced, simple as how you're introduced to the parents, or how the parents, you know, Any local customs?
Well, the nice thing about it is during Chinese New Year,
Yeah.
the
Red
custom of
packet.
the red packet, also known as red pocket. Oh, I don't have any with me, but the usual thing is if you're married, you will give to your family members some money in a red envelope. And then that translates also to the workplace. So your supervisor or your boss will give you also
Yeah.
a red packet during that season. So it's just a nice time for sharing, and it's just it's nice.
And although it's normally married people giving, single people do it too. Like if you want to just be kind to someone and show your appreciation, you still do it.
Yes, yeah. So that's one custom, and then during Mid-Autumn Festival, we have the custom of eating mooncakes. Mooncakes are very famous here.
Yeah.
So yeah, I love that.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
Something new, something different. Yeah.
Yeah.
So what's the Chinese New Year like in terms of the city, what it looks like?
So festive.
So
you have
festive.
everything decorated in red. It's such a happy time.
Yeah.
And you have a lot of activities going on. Like is it lion dance?
Mhm.
Yeah. So you can catch a lion dance. Sometimes, like in your estate, they will actually have a lion dance where the lion will eat lettuce or something, and you can try to catch it when it throws it out of the mouth.
It's like you're getting a blessing.
You're getting a blessing that
so
way.
we actually had the privilege of having that done at one of the estates we were living at a few years ago.
Yeah, and we got to catch
some of the lucky lucky vegetables.
Yeah. You keep it for the year, so we just kept it in our freezer for the year.
Okay. And hopefully it brought you a lot more red
envelopes. I hope so.
So what do you all absolutely love doing in Hong Kong? If there's a weekend that you're off or a day that you're off or whatever, what would you say? Hey, Dawnelle, you say, I love doing this when it's my day off or when I have a long weekend. Or Darcy, you say, hey, I love doing this. This is,
Actually, we love entertaining people who come to visit us. So we have like an itinerary already of the must see or must do things in Hong Kong. And one of them is going to the Peak. So there's a tram that takes you up to a very high point in Hong Kong where you can see an amazing view of all the skyline of Hong Kong. And you can go there day or night. Both give such a different vibe. It's just amazing to go there.
Yes, I think there's just so much to do here. So I can't say one thing. So it would just be explore a different area of Hong Kong. Like, for example, the weekend you could go to Ong Ping 360, which is a cable car that brings you to the big Buddha statue. And it's an amazing thing to do because the cable car runs by the mountainside. And then on the other side, you have the sea. So if you take the crystal cabin, which is a glass bottom cabin, you can just look down and have an amazing view of the ocean, or look to the side and see the mountains. And it's beautiful in the early morning when there's a fog. And then you can just go take the ride to the big Buddha and then go to the fishing village that is right by it. There's so many things to do in Hong Kong. I can't say that one thing. So just exploring. Yes.
Yeah.
I know who's going to help me put together that itinerary. And I need to come back to that side there. I've been there once. I got to come back.
You have to come back.
Yes.
Got to come back to that side. Now, you all have lived in quite a few places.
Right.
And what advice would you give to a Jamaican or anyone who is thinking of, I'm going on an adventure. I'm going to kind of step out my comfort zone and live in a country like Hong Kong where you've never lived before.
So my advice, no matter the location, but my advice is to research the place, talk to people, and then see if you going to that place aligns with your goals. So you need to decide if, let's say you want to go on an adventure. It's not about money or earning or saving. It's just about living an adventure in a comfortable place. Maybe you'll want to choose somewhere different. But if you want to save money, then that will be the main factor in your decision. So my advice would be to try to talk to people who are there, who can give you real advice, read blogs, watch YouTube, but just make sure that where you're going aligns with what you want for your life. Because we found that even though we wanted to be in different places, they didn't necessarily align with our goals. So we had to move on.
Yeah,
So,
just shift. Yeah.
Yes.
And keep an open mind, maybe a lot of us think that as soon as we get to this country, oh, we're going to love it. Everything's going to go my way and things are going to go smooth. I mean, things go wrong,
Right.
The thing that you hoped for may not turn out how you want it to be, but just keep an open mind and just try to focus on your goal,
Okay.
yes.
No, with a support system there, meaning the other Jamaicans and the other friends you make, has that been like really, really helpful?
I think because when we
we're-
came, we were the kind of the founders, not founders, but we didn't have the support. So
Yes, we were each other's support.
We were each other's support.
Yes.
Yeah. So I think we are providing a lot of support,
Yes.
Yeah. For people, because we've been here the longest of most of the group.
Yes,
of the group
and we usually freely share information.
Yeah.
So, people come to us and ask us things, and they will tell you, just ask the twins, they will help you. So, yeah.
Yeah, pretty much.
So you are the foundation. And
Yeah.
I mean, there are Jamaicans who've been here much longer than us, but we don't really know them. I don't know how to find them, but I know they exist.
Right.
Yeah, but
yeah,
being here, we had to figure out a lot of things on our own. Maybe
Right.
not do things the most straightforward way in terms of, if I follow this path, I could have gotten here faster. We didn't have anyone to tell us, how to do it. But it's okay. We've learned.
We've
for someone
learned.
else
We've
to-
learned,
to-
and we can share it. Yeah.
So you give it to other people and say, this is
Yeah.
the best path
Yeah.
to get there. And
Yeah.
you touched on the visa and EU and so on. So it's an easier process versus other countries, being Jamaican and being that they were British colonies and so on. Is that makes it a little easier?
The factor is, different things. So if you
Yeah.
want to come here as a tourist, I don't believe it has changed that we have
90
days
days
visa-free
visa-free
here on a tourist visa.
Yeah.
So, I mean, of course, with a Jamaican passport, that is not the case for many, many countries. So that's one advantage. But in terms of getting a visa for our specific work, because Hong Kong has a program for native English teachers and many, there's a public program or government program and many private schools and companies that recruit native English teachers. It's easy for Jamaicans because we're
Right.
considered
native English speakers. Yeah,
so that's why it's so straightforward. But if you're going to somewhere like Spain, you're restricted to certain programs that are not necessarily work visa programs.
Yeah, they would be student visa programs. So
Yes.
you're limited in the hours that you can work outside of your study. So it's just, it's not a straightforward path to permanent residency in that regard.
Yeah.
But in Hong Kong, as long as you are continually working or continually on a valid visa, whether it's a work permit or study permit, for 7 years continuously, then you may apply for your permanent residency. And it's just an application. There's no interview. They just check your documents and say, okay, you've got it.
Yeah, so that's one thing that we didn't mention before, which is one of the great things about Hong Kong, I would say, is the bureaucracy or paperwork. We've never lived in a country where everything is so straightforward and getting an appointment is just easy, So yes, if you need to get your visa or you need to do something with taxes or any kind of thing where you have to go to a public office, it's been quite
so smooth. So smooth. I don't know. When we leave here, how we will survive. We will be like, I don't know what to do. I'm not used to waiting.
And it's all online. A lot of it is digital.
And a lot of it is online.
Yes.
Oh, wow. So they need to teach the rest of the world or some of these other people to get it done.
Yeah.
Things move fast here.
Yeah.
So I'm going to jump back to language real quickly. Is the Cantonese that's spoken in Hong Kong different than what would be in the other regions in China?
Oh yes. Interestingly, we grew up hearing Cantonese in Jamaica. And then as soon as we came here, I was like, oh my gosh, this is language we've been hearing at home. They're speaking the same language. It was just so amazing to hear, Cantonese. So here and in the Guangdong region, they speak Cantonese, but in the wider China, they speak Mandarin.
And then they have their own
Then they have their
regional
own dialects.
Yeah.
So
Right.
Yeah.
The dialects is where I was going. Does Hong Kong have its own dialect that's kind of different from China itself?
So the thing is, Cantonese is what is spoken, but there are lots of, for example, a lot of my students have family or come from mainland China, so they'll speak their own dialect at home. But in terms of Hong Kong, it's Cantonese that is spoken here.
Okay.
yeah.
Yes.
Have you guys gone to the Guangdong district?
We went to Shenzhen. So yeah, we went to Shenzhen.
Which is right across the border.
Across the border.
Yes.
A few years ago, there's an artist village called Dafan where it's just a village where art is created. The
Yes.
world's art is created.
Yeah,
So
so-
you can see painters working. We bought a couple paintings too for very cheap.
Yeah.
Because of COVID, of course, it's not
We
possible
can't
to
travel
go
as
there.
much,
But
but-
that's a recommendation for your itinerary at Dafan. Please
Yes.
remember that. Yes.
And it's just going over a bridge?
You can take a
train. Or bus.
Or bus, yeah.
Yes.
Okay, get there.
Yeah.
All right, ladies, I'm writing down. Question. This is a scenario, I should say.
Right.
Okay.
So you land in Jamaica,
Mm-hmm.
you get off the plane.
Yes.
What is that first thing you are doing?
Buying a coconut from the side of the road.
You took my answer. That's what coconut water. First thing. Fresh coconut water. Yes. With the jelly, please. Yes. Please and thanks. And then can we stop and get a bun and cheese? Yes. Please and thanks.
No, stop for a patty.
Or stop for a patty.
Yeah.
Oh boy. I think the first 3 days that we go back home, we're gonna put on like 10 pounds.
Yeah, it's
We
just
need to eat everything.
That's
Yeah.
it.
Nobody no send you like a little bun for Easter.
We just have
order.
to order, but
We just
people who
order.
are our friends,
Right.
send us
Looking
a
at
bun,
you
send us
guys.
a bun.
Looking at you guys.
All right. So guys, if you're visiting the twins, as everybody calls them, ask the twins. You're visiting, they need their patty, they need
Yes.
their cheese.
Bun
Yes, bun and
and cheese.
I know it's heavy to carry the whole coconut, so and are you guys accepting canned coconut water?
I mean, we'll take
it.
what we
We'll
can
take it.
get.
We'll
We're not
take
going to
it.
be fussy,
Yeah.
right?
So, again, thank you all. You have provided so much great information. I typically don't run this long, but
Oh, that's okay.
it was just excellent, great information. Now,
Oh,
here's
Thank you for having us.
Yeah.
You know, yes.
here's how I typically end.
Mhm.
Can you teach me and the audience
Yes.
informal way, right? You have those hip hop students and you have, the informal way to say goodbye in Hong Kong.
Okay.
Honestly,
Honestly,
this is
say
it on the
honest
tone too.
Okay.
One,
Bye-bye.
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 There's it.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
That's it.
That's it.
That's
On
it.
that
That's
tone.
it. That's it.
But if
Okay,
you're gonna
come on.
say it in Cantonese, all right, forgive me, Cantonese speakers. My tone is not that great. But
Yeah.
we will say Joy Gin. Joy
Joy
Gin.
Yeah,
Joy Gin. Yes. Or if you want to say it in Mandarin, you can say Zaijian.
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 Zaijian. That's Mandarin.
That's
That's
Mandarin,
Mandarin.
yeah.
All right, so back up on the Cantonese again. Let me hear that one.
Joy Gin.
Joy Gin.
Yeah.
Joy Gin.
So
But you will hear
Danielle,
You will hear bye-bye.
bye-bye.
You'll just
Bye-bye
hear
is what you will
bye-bye.
hear.
Yeah.
bye-bye.
Yes.
Joy Gin.
Joy Gin.
Okay. Show us some love now. Hit that like button, subscribe to our channel, and hit that notification bell. That way you don't miss a video.